We're out here in one of the potato fields of PEI with an irrigation system running behind us. We talked in the promo video about how we're going to be stopping in on people's work, and setting this kind of thing up was actually one of my first jobs, laying all kinds of pipes through the fields and running water to crops that need it. Water's always been, as you guys know, this incredible resource. We need it to live, our crops need it to live. Down through the ages, water for food and for crops and for livestock has been incredibly important. And it's the case in Scripture too. There's been a number of cases as you look through stories in the Old Testament of where water played this pivotal role. Of course, we always think of like the Red Sea and Pharaoh, but actually I tend to think more of these events where like a servant is sent to find a spouse for the master's child, and they find them at the well. Or there's this story of Abraham and his nephew Lot splitting up because there wasn't enough resources for their livestock. Abraham's grandson Jacob, a similar situation. He had to drill wells, dig wells accurately, all over the place to provide for his crops. And if you wind forward from Jacob several hundred years, you come across the story of Jesus walking through foreign territory and arriving at Jacob's well. There he met a Samaritan woman, and there's this great dialogue that goes on between them. It's not a debate, but it becomes clear that this Samaritan woman suddenly realizes that she's talking to not an ordinary person. She starts feigning all kinds of fake issues. And ultimately, Jesus says to her, if you knew who you were talking to, you'd ask him for water. See, earlier in the story, Jesus had asked the Samaritan woman for a drink of water. And now later on, he says, if you knew who you were talking to, you'd ask him for a cup of water, and it would become in you a never-ending well of life. In the middle of a desert, at a well that had been dug centuries before, Jesus offers a different way of doing life. And he says that his good news, his gospel, actually becomes in us a well of never-ending life. And over the next few minutes, what we want to dive into is, what does that actually look like for us? Even in this day and age where we still need to go to extraordinary lengths to take care of our crops and provide water, what does it look like to have a never-ending source of life in the followers of Jesus?